Good evening, my friend. Welcome to WDW Radio Live. I am Lou Mangello. It is Wednesday night, my favorite night of the week, because I get to spend and share it with you. If you are watching live, sit back, relax, grab a snack, and please tag and invite a friend to come along and watch with us. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to join us here every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and turn on notifications on the WDW Radio page and the Clubhouse, because you never know when or from where I might go live. We'll get to next week soon. Got a lot to cover tonight. It feels like forever since I have been here in the chair in the home studio, extra bedroom office. I know I've been out and about and running around, and fall is usually a pretty busy time for me. I've been traveling a lot for work and business, a little bit of personal stuff as well too. Nothing bad other than dropping my daughter off to college, which was incredibly devastating, but I'm making through it okay, and I'm not going to cry on camera again. I know a lot of parents, whether you're sending your kids off to kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, or wherever the next chapter is, it is this interesting dichotomy, right? Because you're proud of them, and then hopefully they're doing the things that you worked for to help them do, that they worked for, and that they're following their dreams, but it's tough sometimes. I used to cry when my kids went off to grammar school too. So and when you work from home, it hits a little bit harder. But so if you have a child that is just going into school, let me see your comments. What grade are they in? And are you keeping your composure as well as I am right now? Because the more I talk about it, the sappier I get. But I digress, because there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about this week. First things first, speaking of this week, I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast, where we talked about our top 10 Walt Disney World places and spaces that we would retheme, playing a little armchair Imagineer and just having some unadulterated fun, just thinking about not sort of attractions that we would gut and build all over again, but taking those existing spaces and places and retheming them. So I thought it would kind of dovetail nicely into the show the week before, 689, where I talked with Michael Vargo about what we know is coming to D23 Expo next week, and then doing a little wishing / prognosticating if I happen to be correct about anything about what might be coming. And then, just sort of imagining this week what we would do if we were, sort of in charge, had the budget, and could, do things that we would love to see in the parks. And it was tough because some of the things that, that I put on the list the week before that I hope or expect to be announced, I didn't necessarily sort of cross the streams here, like my rock and roller coaster being rethemed to the Inside Out roller coaster of emotions. While I would love that to happen, I don't necessarily think it would, which is why this week I put Monsters, Inc. I would love to hear your thoughts about some of the spaces and places that you would retheme in Walt Disney World. You can share them here. I'll pop them up on screen, or go over to the Clubhouse at wdwradio.com/clubhouse. Post it in the conversation that we have going there. There's some really interesting creative ideas and some crossovers as well. And if you're not part of the Clubhouse, please come on over and be part of the community and conversation, and really the WDW Radio family, and this amazing, warm, welcoming, friendly place that you have helped to create. And make sure you listen to this week's show, because I'm giving away another Displate. The metal posters from Displate, I'll show you the one that I have on the wall behind me. They are super cool, incredibly high quality. There are millions of official Star Wars, Marvel, pop culture, Stranger Things, Netflix, whatever you could think of, they have them there. I've also curated some of my favorite designs. So if you go to wdwradio.com/690, answer this week's trivia contest, you can win the Displate of your choice, not just any of the ones that are on screen or they're in my curated collection. So, and I don't think this week's trivia contest is all that difficult anyway. So you can check that out there. And if you don't win, that's okay, because you can go to WDWRadio.com/displate, use code WDWRadio, and save up to 29% off. I think it's 25 for the first 2 that you buy and 29 for 3 or more. And you're going to want to get more than one because they swap out so easy. So it's very easy to kind of change things as you're feeling. Right now, I'm in a bit of a Daredevil mood. So I have Daredevil over my shoulder. It's going to also sort of flow nicely into our conversation about She-Hulk, but I digress. What else? There was some other stuff we wanted to get to, but that's okay. Well, you know what? We'll actually use Daredevil as sort of moving into our conversation about She-Hulk. Let me preface this by saying this will be a spoiler-free discussion that I want you to be a part of. I'll share some of my thoughts. I want to hear some of yours as well. The first 2 episodes have dropped tonight, I believe at 3 a.m. Eastern. If you happen to be a night owl, you'll be able to see the 3rd episode of She-Hulk, starring Tatiana Maslany, who I had never actually known of or seen before. But I wanted to share a little bit of my thoughts about She-Hulk and yours if you've had a chance to see one or any of the episodes as yet. I see a bunch of people in the comments talking about wanting Displates. By the end of the show, I want you to go over and check out, we'll give you some time, go over and check out the Displates. And you know what, better yet, go over to WDW Radio Clubhouse and post a link to some of your favorite ones there. Who knows? I might have more to give away at a later time. We'll get to that in a little bit. But let's talk about She-Hulk. I've actually had a chance to screen the first 4 episodes. I will only talk about the first 2 to avoid any kind of spoilers. That is what the spoiler support group is for. Go to WDWRadio.com/spoilers if you want to talk spoilers there. But I had known a little bit about the She-Hulk characters. I never really read any of the comics, but I had known about She-Hulk. I've heard about things like, Red Hulk and She-Hulk and World War Hulk and some of the other storylines in the comics. But what I like just before I even sort of turned it on, what I sort of liked was, one, she's an attorney, and as a recovering attorney myself, I was really curious to see the portrayal of She-Hulk as the lawyer. And I love the real life street level superheroes, right? A Daredevil, a Spider-Man, those that are not just literally and figuratively on the ground, but ones that live in a world that we can understand and relate to. So I like a Peter Parker and a Miles Morales and, a Matt Murdock more than I like the multiverse stuff and the Doctor Strange stuff. So She-Hulk is that real life street level superhero. And that's part of what makes the show and the concept interesting, is this idea of a Hulk, right? A huge green Hulk trying to lead a normal life, right? Like all these superheroes are. Like Peter Parker is just desperate to lead a quote unquote normal life after being blessed/cursed with these powers. Like that makes for a very intriguing premise and storyline. And I think it was interesting how, especially in the first episode, not that it was rushed, but we didn't dwell very long about how she acquired the powers. It just was what it was. And it really was about her really being her mindset of wanting to continue living her life the way she was before, right? So many other people want to be superheroes, or they are imbued with these superpowers and are figuring out how to deal with it. But she is like, I worked so hard. Again, I can relate to becoming an attorney. That leads, I think, to some very unique character developments and dramatic moments that I think we're going to see over time. And one of the things, and it's interesting seeing some of the comments online about this. Lisa Denaro Glassner, I agree 1,000%. Lady attorneys are the worst. But I think what is going to be an interesting character development for her is this idea of her earning her powers, right? And for a lot of these superheroes, if you think about the origin story of many superheroes, like many others, her powers were thrust upon her. She didn't ask for them. She wasn't hungry for power. She didn't take any, super serum, intentionally or accidentally. Again, like a daredevil, right? Who had this sort of radioactive waste dumped on him. Peter Parker, bitten by the radioactive spider. She has these powers that are given, and now she has to deal with the ramifications of it, not just in her personal life and in her career, but how both of those trajectories change and what this other power and the responsibility that comes along with it means for her. And it sounds almost heavy, but it's not. She-Hulk is just the opposite. It is a very fun, it's a very light show. And this is sort of and I think almost intentionally, like there's a bit of a trend with some of the more recent Disney Plus and even movies that are out, is it's a much lighter, think Miss Marvel, right? A lot lighter. She-Hulk, very, very light. Even Hawkeye, right? So not taking themselves too seriously, and that's what this show does. It is very, and as she is, it's very self-aware, right? We talk about her breaking the fourth wall. She's not copying Deadpool. She-Hulk did it before Deadpool, like by years before Deadpool. So being self-aware, not just in context of the show dialogue, but as she talks with us, the audience, by breaking that fourth wall, I think is really interesting. It's very comedy heavy, right? It's very, very comedy heavy, especially in that first couple of episodes. And again, if you haven't seen one or haven't seen both, I don't want to talk too much in detail, but I think that as the show starts to progress, that the comedic element is going to start to fall away a little bit as things start to get a little and maybe a lot more serious because of where this show, the storylines, the villains, plural, are going to be leading. The other thing that is interesting about the show just as a whole is how short it is, right? They're about 20 to 23, 24 minutes each. So unlike some of the other shows, especially like the ones that came over from Netflix, obviously much darker, take themselves very, very seriously. I just finished watching Punisher, not one for the kiddies as opposed to this. This one is very short, so it's a very quick hit. You don't have to invest a lot of time. You don't have to invest a lot of brain energy, like thinking too much about it. It's a rewatchable show, especially if you're a nerd like me that wants to go back, pick up the tons of Easter eggs and references to other characters and other situations, including, this may be a minor spoiler, there are some elements in there that reference characters in the MCU that we have not seen officially mentioned yet, which I believe kind of makes them canon. Wolverine, I'm looking at you. It's a tiny little sidebar headline on a website that mentions this bar fight with a man with claws. I think we have our introduction of Wolverine eventually will be the MCU. Again, I personally not very familiar with the She-Hulk character and alter ego. And for some people, they like that. They love being introduced to new characters. Other people like that comfort level. I think this is a person who viewers will continue to warm up to over time, right? It's one of those, we just met. We need to sort of go out on a few dates first before we determine whether or not we really like you. Sometimes it's love at first sight, but maybe not for She-Hulk. I think this is a character that you will warm up to if you haven't. I also like, and part of the thing that really intrigues me about this show, and this is not spoilers because it's been very clear and talked about and shown even in the trailers, are the introduction and the crossing over of other characters. Some that we've seen on the big screen, some that we've seen on the small screen, and some that got their start somewhere else. So Wong, Abomination in the fight scene. The fact that Daredevil is coming is red and is flames from the side of my face about Daredevil being reintroduced here. Look, the fact that Daredevil is having a presence in She-Hulk, in Spider-Man freshman year. He's even mentioned in things like The Punisher. He's got an 18 episode first season of Daredevil coming to Disney Plus, which all of these things are starting to build up to. So it's interesting to see those characters coming in and where those relationships are going to lead. If you know anything from the comics about Abomination and where he came from, right, go back and watch the first, Edward Norton Hulk film to get a little bit more context of who Abomination is. But going forward, his introduction here is setting up what is going to be something we're going to see on the big screen coming very soon. It's already been announced, when, again, I won't spoil too much if you haven't seen it. Jane loves Daredevil. I love Daredevil. Like a lawyer from the Northeast. I'm blind as a bat. So the other thing I liked, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on, is the relationship that She-Hulk has with Hulk, with Bruce Banner, right? His mentorship, his tutelage of her, it's very fun to watch the dynamic between the two of them and the relationship that they have. It's also fascinating to see what he's been doing since the blip. It's not quite what I was expecting. Again, I don't want to go too much into it if you haven't seen it, but even that is lighthearted, and you watch the chemistry develop between the two of those, even in the first couple of episodes, and then we'll see, if you haven't watched yet, you'll see what direction that is going. So Jeremy says, what city is she in now? Right now she's in Los Angeles. So you're saying, well, wait a minute. She's in LA, Daredevil's in New York. How does that happen? Time will tell. We will have to see. Jason says, yeah, so if Daredevil's coming up in She-Hulk, we have to assume she's traveling to New York City for some reason. Is it maybe Wong? Who knows? It's the unknown that makes it exciting. So make sure you stay up till 3 o'clock tonight. Look, what I like about this too is it's a light show. You don't get a lot of funny lawyer shows on TV, right? Like, funny and lawyers don't usually sort of show up in the same sentence. I think it's accessible and even appropriate for the whole family. Again, that relationship between her and Bruce. The first thing I thought of, it's like, oh, it's the Karate Kid. Like, Bruce is Mr. Miyagi and she's, wax on wax. So it's like this master-student relationship that develops. But as the show, I believe, hopefully starts to get a little bit more serious in terms of conflict and context, what I'm really curious to see, I talked about her becoming a superhero. You don't become a superhero just because you get the powers, right? If you've watched, and I think the recent Spider-Man films really illustrate this, what I think right now is missing, and I think is coming, is trauma, right? There is that sort of devastating thing that has to happen that is going to make her become She-Hulk. It'll make her become the superhero. Look at Bruce. Look at Peter, Tony, Cap. They all suffered some kind of loss, and that's when it happened. That's when they became superheroes. Let's see what happens with She-Hulk in the episodes that are to come. Again, go to the spoiler support group. We can talk all things spoiler-y and spoiler-ish there. Share your theories about what you've seen so far, about what you think might be coming. Go back, watch the show again, see if you can find the QR code, as they've been doing and hiding in all of the recent Disney Plus shows. You can also download a free, I think it's issue 1 of the first run of the She-Hulk comic. So it's nice introducing you, maybe introducing your kids to not just the characters they see on screen, but the characters they can read without having to go to the comic book store, which is fun, and I still love doing, or a comic convention, which is even better, but even able to just having it accessible right on their phones. Maybe a little bit, watching a little less videos, reading a few more comic books. So Katie says something bigger than being woken up by an air horn. So it'll be very interesting to see. Wondering if we'll get anything more at D23 Expo next week. So continue to share your thoughts, your reviews. Call the voicemail if you want, 407-900-9391. I'll play a review of She-Hulk on this week's show. And we're going to do I've got some Marvel themed shows that I am planning in the future. I'm sort of waiting for what I think, a couple of things that are going to drop before we get into it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Amy Croctera says, eating Cheetos with chopsticks. Again, it's a show that does not take itself serious. Andrew Tan says, shout out to Cousin Larry in She-Hulk. I do the happy dance. Balky's cousin Larry is there. Yeah, Kira says, how is D23 next week already? I have no idea, nor am I completely prepared for it. And at this time next week, I'll be in Anaheim. So I've got a lot of stuff I need to pack and ship for next week. Are you going to D23 Expo? Are you going to be there? Let me know in the comments if you will be there on the show floor. If you can't, I hear the sadness in your face right now. Don't worry. We've got you covered again, because as we have since the very first year, we, by me and Becky Menken, WDW Radio, Mouse Fan Travel, coming together, Ebony and Ivory on the show floor in the Emporium. More importantly, I want to bring the expo to you wherever you are. I'm going to be broadcasting live from the expo all 3 days, Friday through Sunday. So if you're there, come by the booth. We're going to have giveaways, contests, panels, presentations, interviews. We've got a lot of cool stuff that we're planning for the booth, including some cool, very cool contest prizes and giveaways. If you can't, I'm going to post a schedule, or at least a tentative schedule, of when we are hopefully going to be able to go live. We're in the process of trying to pull that together now, but also it's really important that you turn on notifications on the WDW Radio page. Go in, turn on notifications, see first, get notified of live broadcasts. I know Facebook sometimes doesn't give notifications every single time I go live. I don't know why it happens. It's a Facebook thing. And if you can, when we go live, tell a friend, share it out on your profile, on other social accounts, in other pages and groups, if they are allowed. This way, if people can't get there, they can see not just what is happening. And I know D23 is going to be broadcasting a lot of the panels, which I think is awesome, but we want to bring you some of the conversations, some of what's going on the show floor. I've got a couple of interviews set up. You never know who might come by the booth. If you watched last year, you know we had some amazing surprise guests, literally just sort of wandering into the booth and sitting down and chatting. Kathy says, I'm so looking forward to coming back to D23, and I want a hug from Lou. Kathy, I look forward to seeing you as well. And, by the way, we're going to have giveaways in the booth, so definitely come by and say hi. I literally just sent an email checking on the status of some stuff that I ordered. And who is a member of the WDW Radio Nation family? If you're, I don't know why that went there. Are you a member of the WDW Radio Nation family? Let me know in the comments, because if you are a member of the nation, assuming things get shipped and delivered the way they're supposed to, I'm going to have something in the booth exclusively for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Just come over, show me proof that you're a nation member, because I can't remember every name as much as I try. Show me, your Patreon thing or whatever. And if you are, I'm going to give you something very, very special that I ordered just for you. It's a very small token of my gratitude and friendship and just joy for you being part of our family. And just as a quick aside, we had our nation call last night, and if you were on it, thank you. Last night's call, for whatever reason, I don't know what, it may have been the best, for me, it may have been the best nation call I think we've ever had. There was so much fun stuff that we talked about. For whatever reason, I was very open and transparent about a lot of things about me and my business and you and how it all sort of comes together because of that trust that we have with each other. And I got off the phone and like my heart was full. Like I'm like, this is it, man. Like, this is why we do it. This is why we come together. And I just wanted to let you know that I am incredibly, incredibly grateful to and for you. So if you are going to be at Expo, please come by and let me know. And I see a lot of people in chat right now who were there next week. But again, if you can't make it, don't sweat it. I got you covered. D23 Expo Live. That's just going to take you to the clubhouse or the videos page on the WDW Facebook page. This way you don't miss it. So we've got a lot of really cool, fun stuff planned and a lot of surprises. And if you've been to Expo before, you know there's always something that we do unique. And I think we're the only people that have ever done it in our booth in terms of an art installation. And by the way, speaking of, and I don't have the graphic ready, but it doesn't matter, I'm also going to be giving away every day in the booth, not one, not two, I'm not going to tell you how many, but more than 2 Diz plates every single day in the booth. Come by the booth, you'll find out how to enter for a chance to win. And this is where you're going, Mangello, I just got through telling you I'm not going to be able to be there. How am I going to be able to enter to win? Don't worry. I got you too. Because I'm also going to have an exclusive giveaway for you watching at home as well. I'm going to give away a Diz plate, I think, every single day if you're watching at home. So the more you watch, the more opportunity you have to win, because I believe in spreading the love. And Amanda says, I believe in the very unique plushy carpet. I can say because she's not here, because she's on a cruise somewhere. The first year, like Becky and I decided to like join booths. She's like, we need to get the plush carpet. I'm like, Becky, have you looked to see what they charge for the plush carpet? She's like, I need it. You could sleep on the plush. It's like, it actually makes me look tall because it's like that thick. It's very plushy. And after 3 or 4 days and setup and take down, it's very much appreciated as well. So speaking of Expo and speaking of events, you know I'm a handshake and a hug kind of guy, and I know I've missed a meet of the month the last month or so just because of travel and all kinds of things. I promise we're going to get back to that. Don't forget we have other events coming up too. We have our Very Merry Time cruise on the Disney Wish. Really, now that we have been on there a few times, and with it being a Christmas cruise, we have some really fun, cool things planned. We have a really big group actually of people who are coming on the Wish. If you can't make it then, I'd love for you to join us in April for an 8-night overnight cruise on the Disney Fantasy. Overnight in Bermuda is something I have been looking forward to for a long, long time. But in a slightly different vein, and as you know, there's sort of 2 sides of what I do. There's everything on the Disney side, and there's some of the things that I do on the business entrepreneurial side, which really came about out of, honestly, personal gratitude, because you have given and gifted and blessed me with this incredible life that I get to have and share with you. And I want to help other people do what they love and get up as excited as I do every day and look forward to Wednesday nights or whatever their Wednesday night is. So over the past probably 15 years or so, I've done a lot of speaking and consulting, and I don't like the word coaching, but mentoring or whatever it is. And over the past, this will be the 6th year, because there's a break in COVID, I'm going to be hosting my Momentum Weekend Workshop in Walt Disney World. It is a 50-person, 2-day, one-room event where we really help you move the needle from the time that you walk in the door to the time that you walk out. Your business, your brand, your life, your mindset, and hopefully your levels of happiness and maybe even levels of income are going to change in a positive direction. Every year I get excited, but this year, I don't know what it is. There's something special about what we have planned. And I won't go too much into what it is. If you go to LouMangello.com, you can find out more. But I am incredibly grateful for the people who not just attend, but who are there to share what they've learned, what they know, what they love, their experience and their expertise. And I'm going to share with you first our list of speakers and speaker topics that are coming to this year's Momentum event. You are seeing and hearing it here first. I won't go too deep into it. And if you are in the chat watching, well, obviously you're in the chat watching because you wouldn't hear it otherwise. So that's ridiculous, Mangello. If you've been to Momentum before, let me know in the comments. And if you want to share any of your thoughts about your experience or your time there, I will tell you at the outset, I think that we are down to, I haven't checked today. I think we're down to like 10 tickets left. Maybe not even. We might be under 10 seats left for the workshop and maybe one for the optional Mastermind Monday. If you've been on the fence, if you're not sure if this is for you or even for somebody that you know who might be interested, maybe seeing some of the speakers and topics might help you along. So you were the very first people to see and hear this. I see Amanda is in there and a number of other people who have been in the past. So I want to announce for the first time ever the 2022 speakers and sessions for Momentum. Julie Voris is coming in. You may have seen on my Instagram stories. Julie's going to talk about like her mission and your mission to sort of level up your business. Jennifer Shane is coming in for a hero's journey, the entrepreneur's framework for action and reflection. You're going to see that there's a very intentional way that I have designed Momentum this year, right? We're going to start off with a little bit of vision and personal growth, and then some branding and strategy, and then move on to some of those action items and really sort of taking the lessons that you learn and implementing them. We're going to understand what imposter syndrome is like, and if you are in the content creation space or even the business, even in your daily life, you might sort of be confronted with a little bit of imposter syndrome, and he's going to put a little bit of Disney spin on it with embracing your inner villain. We're also going to have a branding boot camp, and this is something new that we're doing this year, where we're going to take sort of the idea of the brand and break it down. The incredibly talented and remarkably nice guy, Tim Begonia, is going to talk about the anatomy of a brand, what your brand looks and feels like. Lindsay Dollinger is going to talk about, now that you know what your brand is, or your brand is, how to design and develop content around it. You know who you are, you know what your brand looks like. How do you sort of plan content around it? And then Amy Keys is going to come in and talk about, now that you've got this very authentic brand, how to craft messaging that's going to do exactly what you want it to do, which is, we're here to honestly, it's about business, help you monetize and how you sort of be able to sell authentically through and using your brand. Eric Fisher is going to come back. He is a remarkably productivity talented guru. He's going to share some lessons from 10 years as a solopreneur about productivity, not just in business, but in everyday life as well. We're also going to do a panel and live discussion about social storytelling, how you can use photos and videos to grow your business and brand, and how to utilize those strategically to build your audience, build your community, and yes, turn those relationships into revenue. And Jeff C., Paul Gowder, Lisa Glassner, Brittany Belt are going to be here and back this year. Lisa's then going to talk about, what to do. She's going to show you tactically and practically how to do it using just the device you have in your hand, doing a mobile photo and video workshop. This weekend is a very, very hands-on, not just learn, but execute and try and ask questions and learn on the fly. We're also going to do another panel, and as part of this growth and monetization boot camp, it's about scaling your business, right? Understand that, and I'm a bad example, but you can't do it all alone, and you shouldn't do it all alone, and there's only one way to scale, and sometimes it's about not just getting help, but being able to scale so that you can grow and maybe even have some time of your own as well. Jeff's going to talk about how you can repurpose content to scale and exactly how to do it with some new tools and techniques, a little bit different than what he did last year. Paul Gowder is going to talk about using giveaways as a way to grow and scale. And we're going to have another panel and live discussion again about monetization is not a dirty word, how to do it, how we do it, and how you might be able to do it in your business as well. Again, a number of people on the panel, including Brittany Belt. Debbie Coleman is a new speaker this year. And then, oh gosh, I buried the lead, Mangello. Back this year, I didn't realize it was the next one. Back this year, by popular demand, and because he wanted to come back, one of, I think, the most fascinating presenters that we have ever had, you saw it already, is Duncan Wardle. He is the former Vice President of Creativity and Innovation for the entire Walt Disney Company. He is coming back to deliver a keynote and an extended workshop. So you can never have enough Duncan, and this year we're getting more Duncan, and he's going to not only teach and share stories and lessons, but he's going to do things to help you put some of the lessons you can learn from Disney and from Duncan into play. I am incredibly honored to have everybody back, but Duncan Wardle is a remarkable presenter, and if you've never seen him, he alone is worth the price of admission. Mike says it's like, unless you're into digital marketing, content creation, Mike, not at all. We have a lot of people who come to Momentum who are brick and mortar business owners, small business owners, even larger business owners. We design the content and the conversations that for things that are applicable to really almost any business and any business owner. And if you have any questions about it, you can feel free to reach out and let me know. But it is definitely designed to sort of appeal to a wide spectrum. I think if you're a corporate CEO, maybe it's not the most applicable one. There's other ways that I might be able to help you or find you help. But speaking of coming to Momentum, there's also more I forgot to mention. We also have a lot of interactivity and ways for you to meet and network and learn from others. There's table talks, live Q&As, AMAs, workshops about helping you plan what to actually do next when you leave the conference with more than your notebook. And I think last year the workbook I gave out was 126 pages long. There's working on yourself, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of what's next, and then a few other things we have planned as well. But I want to also help you get to Momentum if I can. Again, it is October 22nd and 23rd, 2022. We are just about 2 months away. If you go to LouMangello.com, here, I'll put my face over my face. If you go to LouMangello.com/Momentum, you can find more. But because I appreciate you, because I love you, I also want to help you get there as well. If you go and you use code podcast100, you can save $100 off your workshop and your Mastermind Day ticket. So if you want to come to the Mastermind Day, you can save $100 off each of those tickets, so up to $200 total. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, post in the group. I know that there's other people in the clubhouse who have been before who would be probably happy to help and answer questions about Momentum as well. I think that is it. We've covered She-Hulk, we've covered Expo, we've covered Momentum. I'm sure there's probably something that I am missing as I look. And my desk is covered in sticky notes. I'm very tech heavy, but yet I've got 800 pink sticky notes all over my desk. So Dan Boyle, it is a roster, and I am excited to go, not just excuse me, as the organizer, but more importantly, as an attendee. I learn so much every year. I leave with a notebook full of notes from the people who are there. More importantly, like I will tell you this too, I very heavily vet the people who not just are in attendance, but certainly those who are at the front of the room. And it's a really, really just good group of people that are there because they want to help and they care about what they do and want to help you as well. I will tell you that momentum has changed my life and the trajectory of my business. And if you are just starting out or you're trying to turn the corner, if you're looking to take things to the next level, it's the reason why I created Momentum. It really is for you. Elizabeth says, I don't think we talked about food. This could be a record. This might be the very first time I have not talked about food. Even as I mentioned, we talked about She-Hulk using chopsticks, but she was picking up a Cheeto, and I don't think that actually counts. I didn't talk about going to Disneyland and going to Disneyland and California Adventure after Expo and enjoying some of the food there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fall into the trap because it's okay, that's fine. If I could take you to dinner anywhere in Walt Disney World right now, where would we go? Where would we go? Lightning round. Where would we go to dinner if we can go to dinner anywhere in Walt Disney World right now? Amber Bramble says, I'm going to try and go to Boathouse this trip. When I say I'm going to try, I mean I'm going to have my amazing MEI travel agent, Beatrice Ennis, try and do it. Amber Bramble, if you can't get into Boathouse, let me know. I might know a guy who might be able to help you. Cozy Cone, Bread Poen says, Amanda, I knew you were going to say Homecoming. I had a feeling you were going to say Homecoming. We need to go back. We need to go back to Homecoming. Joe Masters, what did I enjoy in Dallas? Joe Masters, it's become sort of an unofficial tradition for me and some friends that when we go to conferences, sometimes it just happens to be where there's a Nobu. The meal that I had at Nobu in Dallas is without question one of the best meals I've ever had. We also had Texas barbecue. We had Tex-Mex. We had good pizza one night. We ate well. We were like, I found this really cool like fried chicken joint for lunch one day. Excuse me. Jeremy, I haven't been to Skipper's Canteen in a long time. I understand they've added and changed some things on the menu. I need to go. Marla Chan, Three Bridges is a nice call. And when you come out here, and I know I owe you a message, by the way, on Messenger, when you come out here, we're going to have to find time and make our way out to Three Bridges. Amanda, you had me at Topolino's, and I don't care if it's for breakfast or for dinner or both. I would be happy to do either or both. Sanaa, let me wait. You can serve Momentum Burger. What's a Momentum Burger? I don't know what a Momentum Burger is, Tom. Sanaa for late night bread service. Lisa, I would go, but if only like there was somebody, like anybody, like possibly even that lived close by that would say, hey, Mangello, when you're done with the show, I see you've had a stressful day. I'm going to pick you up. We should go to Sanaa Bread Service. Nobody does that. And yet I sit here alone in the dark, like the video game from the early 90s, without Sanaa Bread Service. It's been years, by the way, since I've had it. The last time I had Sanaa Bread Service may have been when I reviewed Sanaa Bread Service. No. Could it be that long? It's that long. It's that long ago. A lot of boathouses. Brunette is actually watching from Magic Kingdom, which I love and appreciate. You're probably lining up because it's almost fireworks time. Another Sanaa. Yak and Yeti. Elizabeth, I need to go. I was actually messaging Steve Schussler the other day, and I was like, how have I not done a live review of? Maybe I'll go this week. Would you like me to do a live review of Yak and Yeti for this week's show? And do I possibly have time to get all the way over to Animal Kingdom with all the things that I have to do before Expo? Possibly. I'll look for your comments to see. Columbia Harbor House. Caleb Joshua Hill, you're a cheap date, man. I can make that happen. Mike, it's about time somebody said Takumi Tay. It's not open yet, but man, when it does, I'm coming for you, Takumi Tay, and I'm coming hard. Like, get ready. I can't wait. California Grill for the Boathouse. Sarah Goff, the only place. Sarah, you guys have never been to. How have we not partaken of the Morimoto goodness together? Like, broken dumplings together and shared some of those incredible, delicious ribs. Timothy Cashman, I did meet you at Casey's Corner, but we didn't eat together. We did not eat together, which we'll have to do one day. Deborah, Takumi Tay is incredibly good. I've been there twice. I went there with family and I went there with friends. But, the first time I went with friends was an incredible, incredible experience. Nomad Lounge, I was informed today by a little bluebird that there's new bread at Nomad Lounge, new ribs at Nomad Lounge, and I might need to go to Nomad Lounge. Also in Animal Kingdom. It's so hot and so far away, but I might need to make that happen. Gonna try and get a boathouse reservation. Let's see, upstairs for Zebra Domes. Oh, Karanobu is so good. Marcel, that rigatoni at Topolino's is. I haven't reviewed Topolino's yet because I can't find anybody to review Topolino's with me. It's just infuriating my friends, especially those that live close around me. Amanda says, Lou, this makes me sad. You need bread service in your life very, very soon. I agree. Kira says they also have amazing plant-based options. I will keep that in mind, Kira. I'll keep the plant-based options in mind. My daughter eats a lot of plant-based food, so a lot of times when we go out, I get an opportunity to try it. I have no opposition. Although this does not look like a body that eats vegetables, I do like fruits and vegetables. So I will look to see about those. I know a girl with a Landry's card. So Lisa, that's what I needed to hear. I was wondering if I could borrow the Landry's card. I'm kidding. I kid because I can hear you rolling your eyes and making faces. Space 220, Satuli Canteen. Space 220 is good too. I need to do a review of Space 220. It's been open long enough. They've tweaked a couple of things. I think they just introduced a couple of new items to the menu. So I might have to add a list to that. Have I ever done a review of Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe? No. No, I've never done a review of Cosmic Ray and the Starlight Cafe. We've talked about Cosmic Ray, but not necessarily the food therein. Clearly, I have a lot of dining that needs to be done. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it because I'm a giver and I love and I care. So with that, I need to get back to the D23 Expo prep. I wasn't kidding when I said I've just got like sticky notes everywhere. I've got a lot of Expo prep and momentum prep and cruise in December prep. Yes, we prep like literally months out. I hope to see you next week on the show floor at D23 Expo. If not, I hope to see you here in the box live. If there's anything I can, that's the completely wrong thing. Wait a minute, let's try that. Now I completely lost my train of thought. If there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. Again, to find out more about Momentum, just go to LouMongello.com/Momentum. Don't forget to enter this week's contest for a chance to win a Diz Plate of your choice. And if you are not a member of the Clubhouse, wait for it. If you're not a member of the Clubhouse, come join our wonderful, welcoming community that you have helped to create. And thank you if you are part of the Nation family. I sincerely love and appreciate you. None of this could happen without your friendship and support. And most importantly, and finally, please always remember to choose the good and find the good and be the good and spread positivity to others. We could all use a little bit more of it in our day and in our life. I love you and I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for everything. And I hope the show and tonight brought a little bit of happiness to you. I look forward to seeing you again next week. So until next time, see ya. so happy I didn't leak any of the surprise guests that are coming to the booth.